this is Jayme and
Beth.
and we're the Geriatric Millennials, two youngish, oldish ladies talking about dating today. Dating in your 40s.
40s.
What the F?
I just want to say, I did not think I would be here. I thought I would have met my match 20 years ago. And now I'm like, well, we're down to the maybe it's not going to happen because it's so bad out there.
Is it?
It's really bad. And when we're talking about dating today, I'm single and Jayme is very much married.
Yes. I've been married for 19 years.
It's crazy.
It is. It's a long time.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can still talk about dating because I feel like we still kind of date. Kind of. So we'll talk about it.
I don't know. I feel like it's still important to date in your relationship.
Yeah.
Because you just don't want to be like, you don't want to be that couple that just calls each other mom, pa, and only talks about their kids.
True. It's true.
Like, it's like, okay, well, your kids are gone now. What's going to happen? You're
I
like,
know.
oh, we're
Sometimes I think about that and I'm like, oh, dang. Huh. Okay.
Which I just have to say, like, I have a acquaintance from high school that is becoming a grandma. And I'm just like, oh, we're at that age now where we can be grandmas.
Yeah. I have a close friend who is a grandma. Yeah, that's weird.
It's okay. Yeah. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
But it's moving on. But it's the month of love. And so we thought we would share some of our, well, what it's like to date right now.
Yes, that's what I want to talk about. I specifically want to talk. I want you to talk is what I really want because as we were talking about this, I'm not even dating right now. Like I'm only dating like in theory. Okay.
Because
but
it's
still,
like,
but there's reasons for that.
There's very much the reasons
so
for that.
let's talk about it.
You know, I'm in my 40s and in my early 40s and I live in a smaller community.
I think that's a huge,
but I see women talk about being in big communities and not finding, you know, gentlemen callers type of thing. I think it's been an interesting journey. Like I was kind of late to the like dating game, like heavy dating, just because like I was busy. Like I was in college. I worked all the time. I left college. I opened businesses and I was like doing stuff and I literally didn't have time for anything. Like I remember my friends were having babies and I was building like my brand and then that crashed and burned. And then I got into youth ministry and like, you know, that was a whole thing as a minister.
That is a whole thing.
It is very challenging to date as a minister. I'm just going to say, like,
I believe you.
It was super awkward. I was involved in a bunch of like Christian community of other young people, but most of them were married. And then the ones that weren't are like, these are my two choices. You know, here's Alan and here's Rick. Which one do you want to date? And it's just like, neither. Yeah. You know, and so it was just always so complicated. And I would meet guys and they would be cool for a while. And then it was like, they would want like their expectations were just things I couldn't do. Like it just wasn't a reality. And so then I found myself just being like, what they used to call a spinster. I call it a female bachelorette. And being just kind of like the fun, rich auntie to my friends, you know, in many ways. And it's just like, you know, I've been trying to date more recently. There's a little bit of a pause during like the whole COVID stuff, but it is like the struggle is so real.
Well, I feel like dating has changed significantly because of the internet. So now, is that the main way that people meet people
each other
to date? I think it is.
Yes, that is yes. I have tried to have friends set me up before. I would prefer a meet cute. I want to bump into somebody in the produce department, you know, at a concert, not that I go to concerts, at a restaurant, you know, like just meet in a way and just like kind of organically meet at work, something like that where it's a little just more in person because the vibes that people give off are so strong. Yeah. And it's like, but I've been forced to be on dating apps. You know, I've done Bumble, I've done Hinge.
I don't even know what
Tinder,
these are.
Match, Plenty of Fish. That one was trash. And, just there's all these different dating apps, which all have different connotations that come with them. Okay. And I think there's a few things that I've noticed with guys my age. First of all, they want women that are significantly younger than me. They're in their 40s. They want 27-year-olds.
Gross.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Another thing is that like, I don't know what happened to our generation of men, but I really look at the downfall as like those shows in the 90s that were like the guy is like kind of like a schlubby guy and he has a hot wife and he's like a normal average guy and he has this beautiful wife. And it's like, I remember that guy, Kevin Malblart, the guy from
the mall cop.
The mall cop.
Yeah.
That
What show?
guy.
Yeah, that
Kevin,
guy. Okay.
whatever his name. And he had that show, King of Queens, I think it was, he had the hot wife. And then there was that Ray Romano show. And there's just a lot of shows where there's these normal average guys with above average women. And to me, it feels like sometimes men have been sold this thing that like, no matter what they bring to the table, they deserve a 10 plus. Like they deserve the hottest, thinnest, most beautiful put together woman. And it's like, I feel
I'm shaking my head over here.
This is my experience as a stubby black woman who's short.
Don't
freaking
call
adorable.
yourself stubby.
I am stubby. I am like a little chicken nugget. I think I'm a freaking adorable.
You are freaking adorable.
I look in the mirror, I'm like, that's a 10.
Yes.
Personality, 10. Looks, fire. Butt, busted. Like,
yes,
all those things. But like other people look at me like, oh, that's an overweight middle-aged woman who's short and is wearing, sweatpants to the club. To each their own. But it's like, so like I would be on these dating apps and it's like, first of all, if you're at all overweight in any way, like we're talking over a size 6'8", you're already like at a disadvantage. I happen to be black.
That is so not right.
It's not. I happen to be a black woman in a primarily white town. Historically, you can come at me, go Wikipedia it, but there's a tendency for white men not to date outside of their race, specifically black women. And a lot of men choose not to date black women. So my pool is like very small.
Okay.
So that's like two, not strikes against me, but just two factors that add into this of like a limited pool. So, I mean, I go on these dating sites. I try to take cute pictures. I don't even like taking pictures. Jayme knows this. Like for us to take a picture,
You just need a good headshot and then just use that one.
No, you can't just use that one.
Oh.
You are out of the loop, girl. No, you have
totally
to have
am out of the loop. What are you talking about?
You have to have a face beauty shot. You have to have a full body shot when you're overweight. Yes, because you have to let them know what they're getting into, or they'll be like, "Oh, you catfished me." Like, you don't look. It's a whole thing. And so
you have to take a picture of your body.
Yeah, not like suggestive, like.
I know, but
like,
still, I guess.
Oh,
Okay.
You have to take an adventure shot. I don't do adventure. What am I supposed to do? Like, here's me and my cat on my couch with my Nintendo Switch controller. That's my adventure.
You should.
No. So there's just all of this like energy and effort that you have to put into your profile that I just don't have the bandwidth for.
Okay.
I have a younger friend and like I've had her help me before with things and like I'll send her my bio to make sure it's cute. But the worst thing is like, so you put yourself out into the world. Firstly, like people will. I see this on TikTok and I'm always afraid somebody's going to do it. They'll be like swiping through and they'll like do screenshots of people they don't think are cute and stuff. And then I'm like, oh my gosh.
How rude.
So rude. But at the same time, I appreciate it because I do it to guys that are like being total dicks on social media. Anyway, so it's like you have to have your whole profile. And then if you start matching with people,
Sounds like a lot of effort.
It is, Jayme, it is beyond.
You can't just like go live your life and be like, oh yeah.
No,
I see why you want to just meet someone.
So then it's like,
in real life.
I always pay the subscription because I like to be able to see who views me. And I typically only will match with people that have matched with me because it's like, okay, I know that they're open to dating a black person and hopefully they have less bias. And I really don't want to be like dating
somebody
racist.
Are you only looking at local people though?
I've gone bigger than that, but I'm not doing like the whole world, but like a good radius. But
what is that? What is your definition of a good radius?
Like 500 miles.
Are you going to look in Seattle, Portland?
That's not a great pool, but 500 miles.
I'm just saying, is that too far away?
No, like 500 miles. Like that's a good
I don't
race.
know what that means. I don't know how many miles away that is.
Yes. Okay.
I'm geographically
all
challenged.
the way to like Seattle, Portland.
Okay,
but those aren't
I was
great
just
pools
curious.
either. Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm not surprised, but still, that's a lot bigger city than.
But so you start matching with people, and then there's this. So many of these guys just want to text back and forth and back and forth. So you have to be flirty and witty and do like cute banter through like the app text, or you have to give them their Snap. Which there's this one guy, he always wanted my Snap. I'm like, sir, I'm not sending you booby pictures. It's just not going to happen.
And like, that's what he wanted.
Eventually, yeah. Like a lot of these guys, they want like. I remember this one person I matched with him, and he's a black guy, and I never, there's very few black guys here. And he seemed nice enough. And we started talking. He just wanted to hook up that night. And it was just like, no, I'm good, but good luck out there, sir. And it's just like, especially when I was doing youth ministry, I'm like, that is not an option for me to be like booty call central up in here. Like, like honestly, when I've been like in the past, when I've been doing youth ministry, like I wouldn't even, I couldn't really tell people I was dating even. Like I had to keep everything. So I'm really private about it because I never want my students to think I'm out there like, pumping and dumping. No, that's breastfeeding. But like just being out there. So anyway.
But you're not in youth ministry anymore.
I know, but like now I'm just like, again, going back to this effort has been very like Oh my gosh. Like I can't do the back and forth. One time I was at a dinner, not party, but I was hanging out with friends and I was talking to this guy and I just was like not doing a good job. And they were like, Beth, we're going to help you. And so one of my friends.
You were talking to them through text?
Through text. So this is all through text. So this one guy, one of my friend's boyfriends, he grabs my phone and he's talking to the guy and he's like, you got to use this ratio of emojis and blah, blah, blah. And they were having a great conversation, him and this guy on the match. And I ended up going and, having
thinking it was you.
Nachos and like sitting with my girlfriends and laughing. Yeah. And I was just like, that is exhausting.
Yeah.
Like my friend was trying to break down all the ratios of how you have to do this and that. And I was just like, I barely text my friends, people I love.
Yeah.
And to think of having to do this with a new person is freaking horrible. Not to mention I've done Zoom dates. I've gone on I've tried to hang out with a few different.
Zoom date would be so awkward.
It was very awkward. This was COVID time. There's this guy that we just kept missing each other. But he would come into town because he lived out of town. So he'd come into town and he would be like, oh, you want to hang out? And he would give me 15 minutes notice. And I was like, that doesn't work for me.
No,
that's not respectful of my time, my energy, my effort. It's a Saturday. I'm doing my nails. I'm having a self-care Saturday moment. I can't just drop and come hang out with you at the movies.
Right.
What are you doing?
You need a little more notice than that.
So that's just scratching the surface. But just to even find people to match, it's just so wild out there. Because again, so many guys want women that are younger or you just see all the baggage. These guys that call women females type of guys and just are very about being the man type of thing in their profiles. And you're just like, okay. Or their profile pictures them in a fish. It's just what is happening?
Fish. I think that there's got to be a lot of people who've been divorced too. Right? In our season of life.
Yes. Which that doesn't bother me.
No, but I'm just saying there's another layer of baggage because there's probably a lot of them are fathers.
Yes. And here's my thing. I have a pretty amazing life. I have amazing friends. I have a great job. I provide for myself. I do kind of what I want to do. I have fun. Some people might not think it's fun, but I have fun.
Yeah.
And and I have a safe space. So it's almost like I'm looking for someone that's going to enhance my life, not complete my life.
Yeah.
And so my life is complete. And so I think that's the hardest part about dating at this age is just it's not, I don't want to be I have an inflated sense of ego or whatever, but it's you have to bring something to the table that makes my life better. Because if you look at the realities of what happens to women in relationships, they take on a lot of the emotional labor. They take on a lot of the household chores. I think I just read something that when you're in a relationship, you get 8 hours more a week of chores when you're in a partnership.
I don't want to date somebody that I have to then all of a sudden do their
laundry
and dishes.
I don't want them to disrupt my life in a way that now it's it's another job.
Yeah.
I want to be able to come home at the end of a long day after I've worked a hard day, making my money.
Yeah.
And not have
You might want to rethink the booty call thing.
Maybe. That's a lot of work too, because you got to, stay cute. That's the thing. I need the booty call that doesn't care that I'm not going to be cute. Oh, I'm here. I'm in sweats. All right, now go, kind of thing.
My gosh.
Anyway, so dating has been challenging and oh my gosh, there's sometimes too, I've met some guys and I've hung out with some guys and I've really tried to make that connection and have the spark but I've hung out with some guys and been dating guys that have been very they haven't done the work on themselves. In the sense of the emotional, therapy, getting over your childhood and any trauma or drama in your life so that you can be a healthy partner for your next person. It's more they're coming in oh, you seem to have things together. Can you fix me? And I'm just oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's been my experience.
It sounds bleak.
It does. But then the other part of me is I see some of these women online that are they're no, I'm just going to be single and love my life and do what I want to do. And I'm that's so encouraging. And it's part of it. I mean, it's kind of one of the first times in history where women have the opportunity to do that, where you don't have to be married to be a landowner or have a bank account,
right.
Or you can have a job that actually is a living wage job. You can travel the world, everything solo or with girlfriends or with, your couple friends or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And enjoy life in a big way without having to have a partner.
That's fantastic.
I don't know, it's kind of freeing. Like I have friends that could not be without their husband, right? Like they would not know how to function in life without their husband. Like to the point where it's like they don't even know where they bank, which to me, mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like if that's you, okay, everybody does their relationships differently, but I like the independence and freedom of just being able to know, like, I created all of this world around me myself. Like, not in a gross way, but like I decorated my place.
Right.
I picked out the couch.
Yeah.
I decided where I was going to live, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my current dating state. The other fun thing is that I keep having friends that try to hook me up with guys or like set me up with guys.
Do you like that?
No, because some of my friends will be like, any black man they know, they're like, that's a man for Beth.
Just
regardless of age.
Because he's black.
Because he's black. And I'm like, first of all, that is a child. He's 24 years old. That is not somebody that is a dateable age. Or it's like the reverse. Like I remember one time my friend trying to hook me up with someone. And they're like, here's the thing. And at the time I was much younger. This was like, I think I was like, must have been like 23, 24.
Okay.
Somewhere like that. And my friends were like, they were trying to hook me up with somebody with her husband's job. And he was like, here's the thing. He's divorced. He has a couple kids. He's in his mid 50s, but you know, maybe. And I was just like,
when you were 23.
When I was 23. Because it's like people just are like, they're like, who's the one who do I know that's single?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a match, you know, without thinking like, is it though? Is it a match? So, I mean, I would love to trust my friends and family to hook me up. I mean, I've set up 2 people in my life. Both are married happily with a million kids.
Wow.
Who's that for me? You know?
Would you ever consider expanding the radius more broadly because of the independent woman that you are who can get on a plane and go somewhere or vice versa?
But I don't want to be in a long distance relationship because what's the point? Because then what are you doing? You're texting, you're on the phone. No. I need someone that can be at my house to go reach something high on the counter. That's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking and then people are like, oh, she's probably a height queen. You know, she wants somebody. No, because that's always a big thing. Discourse.
Height queen?
It's like the women that want somebody that's like 6, you have to be 6 foot or higher kind of thing.
Oh.
And then there's like always this like kind of back and forth where it's like, you know, guys will be like, well, oh my gosh, there's this one guy, people are like, well, how tall are you? And they're like, well, how much do you weigh? It's like this battle in the thing, in the online dating world, kind of memey. Anyway, I'm 5'2".
Yeah.
Would I like to have somebody taller than me? Absolutely. Because I just need the arm length. Yeah. Because guess who was at the Target the other day trying to get some magic erasers and they were all the way back. So I had to go and get like a Swiffer stick to like launch up to the top shelf to try and like wiggle it down, and nobody was walking by me that was tall and would help. Yeah. So yeah, I need somebody with a little bit of height, but I mean, it's not much. So.
You know what? Side note, I also feel like, I mean, I know you said 24, not a dateable age, but I do feel like there can be possibilities of a broader age range. So I'm curious do you put those filters on?
Filters, yeah.
Because what if you're missing somebody that's like 1 year out of that range?
Too bad. I'm sorry. My filter is like 10 years, you know, like 5 years.
Because let me just tell you that I met this couple and she was 40 and he was like 21 or 22 or something.
No.
It's just, they have been married for 19 years. They've been married for 19 years.
Yeah. No.
I know. It's
the
an
exception,
unusual
not the
thing.
rule.
I know. But I was like,
that's
dang,
amazing.
lady, like good for you. Because that's kind of amazing.
Here's the thing. My guess is that woman has the energy level of somebody younger. Because I have a 40-year-old woman energy level. So like if some 23-year-old guy is like, hey, let's hang out. I'm like, son, no. Because you know what? I'm home at 7:30. That's my happy place. You're not even going out yet. Yeah. You're barely getting in the shower at 7:30. You're going out at 9. Yeah. I'm in bed. I've already done my skincare routine. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's more about energy levels.
Yeah.
Or like,
I can see that.
Or
I can see that.
But anyway.
Oh my gosh. So, I love talking about this. I love hearing it. But I also think it sounds like to me, you're saying you don't necessarily feel a high motivation to try to really date as far as because you're kind of happy with your life. I mean,
like I'm not planning on having kids. Okay. I'm getting ready to buy my own house. Okay.
Right.
I mean, double income would be real nice because I could go on better trips, but I can make it happen.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting place to be, to just like, and it's been taking me a long time to get to a place of acceptance of like,
Okay.
you know, like you're going to miss, you know, because there's this whole pressure on women to get married, to have kids, to have the things that we're quote unquote supposed to have at this stage in life. And I mean, I fall victim to it where I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're a failure in life because you haven't had kids. You're a failure because you haven't, you know, gotten married yet and all this stuff. And then I'm like, Beth, everything that you've wanted in life, you have gone after and gotten some type of portion of it, you know, whatever it's been. Might not have looked like what you wanted, but you got it. If you wanted to have a baby, you could have a baby.
I mean, that's very true.
And it's like the thought right now of having a baby is horrific. You know what I mean? Like if I could go back in time and have the option to have babies when my friends were having babies, maybe, because then it would have been fun, because I would have been like, oh, Jayme and I just had babies at the same time. And now they're growing up together and how cute and blah, blah, blah. But like to be like 42 and like, oh, I'm going to have a baby this year and just do it by myself and have to be woken up.
It doesn't sound like you want to do that.
No. The only reason I would want to have a baby is selfish. It'd be like to see what it looks like, to look how cute it would be. Because you know, it'd be damn cute. Would. And to see what kind of mother I would be. But I'm like, you know what kind of mother you would be because you worked with kids for years and you treated them with love and kindness and all those things. And I can't imagine you just flipping the switch and be like, nope, I'm going to treat my own kids like crap.
Right. No, of course not.
Yeah. And same with a partner. It's just like, cool. Like if you want to hang out, great. Like if not, whatever. So yeah, it's weird. But then I see my friends like you and your husband have such a beautiful relationship. I know it's taken a lot of work and you guys actively work at it.
Yeah.
I ran into them recently at a dance class, which I was like, all right. But like, what are the things that you've done to keep your relationship healthy? Like to keep him as your boyfriend?
Well, I feel like we've gone through seasons and there have been times where I'm just like, meh. But there's also times where it does feel more like that. And I think being intentional about still dating and going out. So when we have an opportunity, and now that our kids are a little bit older and they're all in school, that's changed. So now we'll do lunch dates. And that is just easy because if he has a day off or if we both have time, we can go out for lunch. So we like doing that. And that is a good time for us to just like connect and talk and catch up and have fun together. And then we've started this dance journey this last year, which to me has been really helpful. And now we go to these dance event things, which feels like going out on a date, even though we don't just dance with each other the whole time, because I don't want to do that. I want to dance with other people too, but we're there together.
Yeah.
And so that's been really fun. But I think it's easy when you're in a long-term relationship, at least in my experience, and I've only been married to this one person. It's easy to just get into a routine and not take the time to really spend time with each other or connect. And so we've had to be intentional about that.
Yeah.
Because life gets full, dude. And like now he's working full time and going to school. I'm working. We have 3 kids.
And a house.
And a freaking yard.
Yep.
And it's just a lot. Yeah. And so fortunately, I feel like now that our kids are older, we can just like leave them and we don't have to try to make arrangements for a babysitter, because that's a tough thing too, is just trying to make sure that everyone else is okay so that you can leave them.
Yeah.
So we've been through lots of different seasons, and now I feel like this one's pretty great. So because our kids are older and we can just be like, bye guys, we're going out. So,
well, and it's nice that you guys have some shared interests and hobbies.
Well, and I think that we've had a hard time finding that, and we've tried to find different things over the years and nothing really has stuck. Like we bought kayaks, but that is something that takes energy and effort to make happen and planning. And it's not something that we can just easily do. And it's not something we can do really year round. It's kind of a seasonal thing. And we do in the summer go, but only at that time of the year. And so we like to play games. And there's a couple of games that we will play. We used to watch shows together, which I haven't really watched much in the last year. But finding this dance thing, I feel like has been so good because it is something we can do year round and it's easy. I mean, you can... Literally, we just dance in our kitchen when we practice, you know, and we can just turn on music and do that. And that has made a huge difference. Yeah. So I feel like I'm really thankful for that. And outside of that, I mean, we do have some common interests, but not a lot of activities that we both really like to do together. So at least we have that.
You guys complement each other well, though.
Thank you. Yeah.
And again, I see the intentionality in your relationship. I appreciate because, I mean, I have an interesting perspective because I've seen all my friends get married, some divorced, some stay together and miserable, whatever. And some happy, of course. But it's been interesting to see how my female friends navigate their marriages by what they say. And it's like I have two friends, you and another friend, and you guys are very close-lipped and tight-lipped about the inner workings of your marriage.
Interesting.
And like fights and things like that. And I have other friends that are very open about sometimes really petty things, at least in my book, to the point where the way they talk about their husbands makes me never want to marry a guy ever.
Yeah.
Because it sounds so horrible and unbearable and so draining. And I'm like, I mean,
no, thank you.
No, thanks. But I think that that's one of the positives, in quote unquote dating your husband is not sharing all the secrets, and I don't know, I see the healthier, my friends which I perceive as having healthier relationships tend to be more tight-lipped on the little things in relationships that are annoying.
Oh, there's plenty of those.
But there's plenty. You just shake it off and keep it moving. Because if you harp on those things, after a while, they become big things.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, anyway.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of little things, though, I'll tell you. But I don't need to.
You don't need to tell me
I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of it, I've been married a long time. And there are things that if I allow myself to focus on, I wouldn't be nearly as happy.
Yeah.
Because they're annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of annoying to share everything and
share a life with people. Yeah, it is in all relationships.
Yes. I mean, there are times, where I'm just like, oh, but if I stayed in that mentality and just focused on that would suck.
Yeah.
So it is more of a choice to, and it's a mental thing for me.
Yeah.
To focus on the things that I appreciate, the things that I love, the things that I enjoy in that relationship. So I don't always do a great job of that, but so much of my experience in my relationship comes down to my thoughts.
Fair.
I mean, really, like it's my own thoughts. Like, and something that I think that I want to work on more because it's made a big difference is just always giving the other person the benefit of the doubt and always expecting the best versus imagining the worst. Like if my husband does something or doesn't do something, I would have a natural tendency to be judgmental and assume the worst versus assuming the best. And that's a shift that is hopefully continuing, like that I want to do.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Which isn't really what we were talking about, but I don't know. I mean, either way, it's relationships are work. Like, but there's great benefits too. I mean, I'm really thankful that I've had Tony as my partner for the last 19 long years of life. I mean, it's a long time.
And I'm happy I've had myself as my partner for the last 43 years. It's been a wild ride.
Wait, you're not 43 yet.
I'm on my 43rd year though, because in the womb, I was still rocking it.
That's true. That's true. Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like it's a journey. Life is a journey. And this whole dating thing, I appreciate you sharing too, because I imagine that being single in your 40s, there have been seasons for you too, where people have just been really
assholes.
nosy.
Yes.
Like they want to know, and also like pressured or just like just society expectations, all of that kind of stuff. And like, it's really nobody's damn business.
Well, my godmother, she's passed now. I loved her so much. But she gave me such great advice because I was in my 30s having these doubts and feelings. And she just looked at me one day, we were meeting for coffee, and she's like, Beth, you could get married in 10 years and be married for 20 years. And that still would be a really long time of being with someone. You're fine. And I was just like, that's a great perspective because I had put a lot of emphasis on like being married like my grandparents for like 50 years. And that was going to be your, my marker. And she's like, it's a long time to be married to someone. Like, just enjoy what you have right now. And I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
And I think that wherever you are in whatever kind of relationship, I think the most important thing is that you're enjoying your life because it's over someday and you don't know what it's going to be. And it's just a sad thing when you look up and you feel like you've wasted time or wasted your life, you know? And so it's like, that's one of the things I'm trying not to do anymore is be in that mindset of like, oh, I've wasted my time. I've wasted my life.
Yeah.
Because I don't have 5 kids right now, my life has no value. Because I'm not married, my life has no value.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of mothers
are just like,
of 5 kids are looking at your life with envy. Like,
oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help that like I'm on some subreddits. I'm on the subreddit called like regretful parents or something. And it's just people that are like, if you haven't had them yet, don't. It's really hard. I'm just like, yeah, I see that. So anyway.
Hey, if you're enjoying this podcast and would like to support our show, you can share episodes with your friends and family, follow us on Instagram at the Geriatric Millennials, or leave us a positive review and rating, all which help us to grow. Our theme music was created by the Finley Ghost, so check out their latest album now. Thank you so much.